One last battle to hold the line against the night.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Hold the line. No one gets through, no matter what.
Sir, what are your orders?
There's only one order, Lieutenant. We hold.
Incoming transmission.
Allied reinforcements have arrived from the west.
On Mojo 50 Radio. The Millennial Conservative Resistance begins right here, right now.
Oh, yes, sir! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the new Millennial Conservative Resistance does indeed begin right here, right now with you! You are listening to, and God, I hope you're watching, the HoloNet on the mighty Mojo 50. Today it is Saturday. It is the 19th of October in the year of our Lord 2019, and I've been on vacation for a week. Yay! Yeah, I've been pretty unplugged. But, of course, it had to come around again. I had to do show prep, had to get ready, had to look at what's been going on this week. Well, I largely have been avoiding politics in the news like the plague. I mean, I've been playing with my kids. I've been catching up on some Stellaris, which is a really fun new game. # not a sponsor from Paradox Interactive. I am really into like those grand strategy games where you like take a country or like an empire and you rule it for like a long period of time. Like Europa Universalis, Victoria, and now Stellaris is the one I've been hooked on for a while. I blame a great YouTube channel for that. That YouTube channel is I gotta look it up on my phone now. Hang on. It's the Something Institute. Seriously, it's one of my favorite YouTube channels, and I just can't for the life of me think of the name of it. So hang on, let me go to my subscriptions. The Templin Institute. If you haven't checked out the Templin Institute, it's a really solid lore-based channel. I love these lore-based channels. There's quite a few. And by the way, just want to give a big shout out to a colleague who I've been in conversation with, talking about possibly getting onto the show. I'd be pretty excited. I'm going to tease it at my own risk in case everything falls apart, but I'm really trying to get him on. I'm really trying to get on Magog of Morskar. That is Lord Magog of Morskar. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel before, it really is pretty amazing. But yeah, I'm talking to him right now. Hopefully he sees this show and you know, he remembers that I'm here and responds. We've been chatting back and forth on Twitter for a couple of weeks now, trying to handle the Wither 2s and the Y4s. I think it'll be a lot of fun to get him on, in character or not, but I did want to let you guys know that I'm working on that. Also, I've been following pretty closely the Daniel McCarthy candidacy for Senate here in the state of Arizona ever since it came out that he suggested, apparently in a jocular manner, not sure if he was really joking or not, that the United States should annex Mexico. And I said, bro, you're late. You're late. I've been talking about annexing Mexico for like 2 years. Had a post on theholonet.com. If you want to check it out, I'll make sure I drop a link in the description. But, you know, talking about the annexation of Mexico, why it didn't happen during the Mexican-American War. And you know what the funny part is? It didn't happen after the Mexican-American War because the South didn't want it. Yeah. The same people who were like, yeah, you know, we should beat them up and take their land. What they didn't want were a whole bunch of then Mexicans becoming American citizens. So it's kind of funny that the modern Democratic Party, oh, how the tables have turned. Now the modern Democratic Party, they want these Mexican people very badly. They didn't want them so much in the 1860s. But I digress. Check that out. That's on theholonet.com. A couple of other things that we're going to tackle today. Tulsi Gabbard just ran away with the entire news flow for this week. I mean, the news cycle for Friday going into Saturday, Sunday, dominated by the fact that Hillary Clinton, according to Fox News, has floated a conspiracy theory that Tulsi Gabbard is being, quote, groomed by the Russians. In a new interview, she appeared to float a conspiracy theory that the Russians are grooming Hawaii Congresswoman and Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard to be a third-party candidate in 2020, while claiming 2016 Green Party nominee Jill Stein is also a Russian asset, which, according to Twitter, has made Jill Stein relevant for the first time in 3 years. So in one fell swoop, one brilliant stroke, Hillary Rodham Clinton basically gave Tulsi Gabbard an open mic for an entire news cycle. And like I said, she made Jill Stein relevant. So now, if we follow your logic to conclusion, Hillary, dear, Grandma Hillary, evil Aunt Hillary, are you suggesting that Ross Perot was maybe a Russian agent as well because he was a third-party spoiler in your husband's election? Oh, wait! Ross Perot, running back in the 90s, worked out in Bill's favor. So he couldn't possibly be a Russian plant, could he? But no, anybody who hurts the Democrats by running third party and splitting their base's vote, that's a Russian. Yeah. By the way, I saw a Perot 92 bumper sticker a couple years back. Took a picture of it, and I look back now. I think I'm actually going to start re-examining some of the Ross Perot videos, because Ross Perot really was ahead of his time. He bought a whole bunch of ad time and pulled out like the chalkboard style and diagrams and charts and stuff that's easy to read and approachable, and broke it down for the American people. And that's why I think he was the biggest threat to both the Republican and Democrats party, at least in my lifetime. But yeah, Ross Perot, man. How different things would be. I digress, though. Got to get to a couple things. First of all, I want to have you take a look at one of our lovely sponsors here on Mojo 50. You need to get over to lovemytummy.com. Lovemytummy.com. Check out Atrantil. That's right, Atrantil. Atrantil is for the people who suffer from the bubble guts, the thunder poops, and all other afflictions of the gut. Lovemytummy.com/mojo. Check them out. Right now, using promo code Mojo, you can get 3 packages of Atrantil for $99. That's an incredible deal. Atrantil works because Atrantil is rich in polyphenols. It helps you change your bowel habits, helps with abdominal discomfort and bloating. All of your health originates from your gut. Atrantil is made with natural botanicals. It targets your small bowel. It protects good bacteria. It treats bloating and abdominal discomfort, treats changes in bowel habits, and provides fast, short-term relief and promotes overall digestive health through those powerful antioxidant-rich polyphenols. It is clinically proven. It is the only option which is certified by the NSF as a natural and safe solution for digestive symptoms, and is certified for sport. Developed by gastroenterologists. Make sure you check it out. Atrantil, that's Atrantil, Atrantil on lovemytummy.com/mojo. All right, so now that we got that done talking about the Atrantil, man, I'm telling you, having a week off from the 9 to 5 is nice, but I couldn't just do it. I couldn't just take a week off from the 9 to 5. I also had to take a week off from being buried in the news cycle. And you know what I missed as a result of that? Well, I almost missed it. This came out like on the 11th, which is last Friday. Shep Smith. What's going on there, man? Shepard Smith, Fox News anchor, managing editor, senior correspondent, leaving Fox after 23 years. It's still a little bit of a mystery right now. What precisely were the circumstances surrounding Shepard Smith's departure? Now, Shepard Smith has repeatedly drawn the ire of President Trump after pushing back on a bunch of remarks from the president. The Hill reported that. And he's been at odds with members of the opinion side of Fox in recent weeks. So does that explain it? I mean, Shepard Smith, one of the faces of Fox, suddenly bowing out. It's interesting. Even more interesting is news that came out this from the Blaze, is that there are more and more resignations coming out of the Trump White House, out of the administration. Now the latest news from 5 days ago. We know we have Bolton out already. We had the resignation of Kevin K. McAleenan, who's the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, which we covered last week. Now we have I always mess up his name. We have Secretary of Energy Rick Perry, who has now announced his resignation. I'm sorry, John Bolton, who was actually fired. And we have Jason Greenblatt, the Special Envoy for Middle East Peace, who also resigned. So, a lot of top-level turnover in the Trump administration this past week. And this is combined with the recent letter to Turkey, which then subsequently we see, number one, it was a weird letter. If you haven't seen this letter, it was trippy. Okay. Follow that up with the fact that the vice president's efforts seem to have been somewhat successful in at least drawing a ceasefire in northern Syria. But here's the letter, I'll read it verbatim, that President Trump sent to President Erdogan. He wrote, "Dear Mr. President, let's work out a good deal. You don't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands of people, and I don't want to be responsible for destroying the Turkish economy, and I will. I've already given you a little sample with respect to Pastor Brunson. I've worked hard to solve some of your problems. Don't let the world down. We can make a good deal. General Mazloum is willing to negotiate with you, and he is willing to make concessions that you would never, that they would never have made in the past. I am confidentially enclosing a copy of his letter to me, just received. History will look upon you favorably if you get this done in the humane way. It will look upon you forever as the devil if good things don't happen. Don't be a tough guy. Don't be a fool. I will call you later." Now, for the context, this again coming from the Blaze staff and from Jason. Oh, hang on. Jason Betrill over at the Blaze. He explained, to offer some context, Turkish authorities arrested Andrew Brunson, a Christian pastor, in 2016 for alleged ties to an armed terrorist group. The situation escalated, and Turkish authorities transferred Brunson to a high-security detention facility. President Trump threatened sanctions in an effort to pressure Turkey into releasing Brunson in 2018. So, news immediately comes out about this letter, about this truly odd letter from President Trump. And everyone's deriding it, everybody's running it down and suggesting that, oh, this is more bluster from President Trump. But then word comes that Vice President Pence's efforts have been somewhat successful in securing a ceasefire arrangement from the Turks. And suddenly, the conversation starts to change. We find out from The Guardian, reports from The Guardian, which are questionable at best. They reported that President Erdogan threw President Trump's letter, quote, in the bin as soon as he got it, and that President Erdogan was incensed by the letter. He was enraged by it. I don't think that's how one treats a letter from the President of the United States, even if you don't disagree with it. The United States is not easily cast aside, let alone President Trump. So here we go, from The Guardian. Trump's bizarre letter to Erdogan. Don't be a fool. The international and domestic reaction was for the most part incredulous. Erdogan, quote, received the letter, thoroughly rejected it, and put it in the bin, Turkish presidential sources told the BBC Thursday. There is no immediate comment from Turkish officials on the BBC report. The Kremlin later questioned the letter's tone, saying, "You don't often encounter such language in correspondence between heads of state. It's a highly unusual letter," Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters in a conference. In the U.S., many first questioned the letter's legitimacy. Some called it a joke and an embarrassment. Folks, I wouldn't go there with this. I wouldn't doubt the veracity of this letter because President Trump is straightforward. He's dealing in the lingua franca. He writes the way he speaks. And he's trying to set the tone, I believe, with Erdogan. Don't screw with us. Now, tensions seem to be ramping up lately. The Democratic debate last week was a farce. And I agree with much of the punditry that President Trump again won a debate that he did not himself participate in. But who's the big winner from the Democratic debate? On the Democratic side. I think right now that's pretty settled as being the winner of the news cycle is Tulsi Gabbard. But here are some takeaways. And these come from the New York Times. Apparently, Elizabeth Warren is no longer immortal behind the podium. Vice President Biden Oh, New York Times. Nice paywall. That's awesome. Okay, we'll go to 538 instead. They're better. So Elizabeth Warren took some sustained hits regarding healthcare. And who held the floor the most? Elizabeth Warren, followed by Joe Biden, Beto, Robert Francis O'Rourke, Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker. All the way at the bottom was Tulsi Gabbard and Tom Steyer. And Andrew Yang was toward the bottom side. Bernie Sanders was very low on the totem pole as well. Elizabeth Warren spoke by far more than any other candidate present. And Kamala Harris led the pack in mentioning President Trump's name. She took the Trump's name in vain 11 times. Now, if you take a look at this, Robert Francis O'Rourke mentioned the president only 3 times. Grand total. Now, what this is telling us is that the debate is becoming less about President Trump because the left side of the field has really had enough with people just bad-mouthing the president. That's not going to win anybody the White House. Your ability to talk smack about Donald J. Trump is not going to win you votes this time. You actually have to have some substance, which is a little reassuring. Candidates who barely mention the president by name, like Klobuchar, Buttigieg, and Yang, name-dropped him more often. But, this debate was meaningless. First debate got 15.3 million views. This debate got 8.3 million views. That's not even primetime worthy. What I'm waiting for, what I think everybody is waiting for, is the first time after the primary when the would-be candidate goes toe-to-toe with President Donald J. Trump in a true presidential debate. So to run to RCP, good old Real Clear Politics. I want to check that real fast before we jump to any other stories. We got time right before the half here. I want to see the latest polls. Okay, the latest, and this is the average coming from Real Clear Politics. Biden up 5.8 at 29.2, followed by Warren at 23.4, Sanders at 15.2, followed in a distant fourth by Buttigieg at 5.8, Kamala Harris at 5.4, and then you have Robert Francis O'Rourke at 2.6, and everybody else going all the way down to Ryan and Bullock at less than 1%, Williamson and Castro at less than 1%. Tulsi Gabbard polling at 1.2%. Now, after this weekend's events, I bet you if she doesn't get a bump, because Hillary Clinton has called her out now as an apparent Russian plant, I think she's going to see a hell of a boost. Speaking of boosts, have you been on mojo50.com/shop yet? Mojo50.com/shop. You can check out Ken Brown, MD's, KBMD, CBD. On mojo50.com/shop, we have our very own Mojo50 Ken Brown, MD, CBD oils available to you. You can use your promo code MATT, get you $15 off of your purchase there. Make sure you check that out. Comes in a tincture bottle, and it is a really fantastic solution for people who want to use CBD oils but want to source them responsibly, because this CBD comes with a certificate of authenticity. It is taken from an industrial hemp. It is filled with all of the original cannabinoids, terpenoids, and all of the active ingredients that you need. And they all work together in what is called the entourage effect. This actually works really particularly well with the aforementioned Atrantil. They work very, very well together to improve overall health, reduce inflammation. So if you suffer from inflammation, this may be something that you want to check into. Make sure you check that out again. That's at mojo50.com/shop for KBMD CBD, Ken Brown MD CBD. Apparently Dr. Ken Brown's a butt man. He's a gastroenterologist. And as I said, you can use your promo code MATT, and that will get you $15 off of your purchase. And just make sure I'm not missing anything else here, or any new notes or anything like that on the talking points. No, that looks to be it. If you're considering CBD oils, if you suffer nagging joint discomfort, difficulty sleeping, frequent inflammation, mood swings, gut problems, KBMD CBD may deliver real relief. It is a CO2 extracted, organically grown hemp that gives you one of the purest oils. That extract is added to an easy-to-use dropper bottle, giving you 900 milligrams of CBD. It's a wholesome extract. It's not a synthetic. It's not an isolate. And it contains all those synergistic cannabinoids, terpenoids, and essential oils, and the other compounds from the original plant. That is mojo50.com/shop for your Ken Brown MD CBD oil. All right, so we are getting down to it right now. First half of the show. I think when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of quick domestic stories. A couple of things that jumped out at me this past week. One of them might blow your mind a little bit. Here in Arizona, looks like we're going to have an interesting race. Stick around. You're listening to the Holonet on the mighty Mojo 50. We'll be right back.
Holonet on Mojo 50 Radio. The Millennial Conservative Resistance begins right here, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Mojo 50. Press and hold to copy. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of Facebook violations. Take a look, and you'll see all our Facebook violations. We'll begin with the sin of fair use and bullshit copyright strikes. What you'll see will be gone before you can click like. If you want uncensored content, go to Freedom Hard to view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to dunk on leftists? There's nothing to hate. There is no sight I know to compare to Freedom Heart's potential. Posting there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. And we're Facebook banned. Well done, everybody, Facebook banned. Yeah, guarantee this gets taken down by the estate of this has got to get copyright popped by Gene Wilder's estate. Nobody else. Warner Brothers, bite me if you try to take this. That money should go to Gene Wilder. But yeah, that just proved the YouTube demonetization process has begun. Yes, I hope you enjoyed me flexing the golden pipes a little bit, channeling Gene Wilder, God rest his soul. Who I believe would be up in arms and completely disgusted with the world of YouTube and Facebook censorship as it exists today. But speaking of things that are going to offend people of all races, creeds, colors, denominations, and political affiliations, hey, did you know Halloween's coming up? Yes, Halloween is upon us. It is October the 19th in the year of our Lord 2019, and I get to credit my wife, my better half, Mrs. Holloway, with this story coming to us from the Daily Wire. She brought this one to my attention. Happy Halloween! Annual offensive costume bans begin, this time starting with Michigan State University. Emily Zanotti of DailyWire.com reports. Every year, as Halloween approaches, the social justice-oriented woke police begin issuing their edicts and proclamations, prescribing certain offensive costumes. You remember Maui? Remember that? Yeah. And canceling Halloween events lest anyone, be offended, because won't someone please think of the children? Late last month, an elementary school in the Tony, Chicago suburb of Evanston announced that they would be canceling Halloween altogether, over concerns that some children who do not celebrate the holiday would be offended by the chilling costumes and spooky treats, according to the North Creek News. A Wisconsin school followed suit, calling the holiday, quote, inappropriate. Betting, very, very solidly that those people calling it inappropriately never had a good Halloween in their lives, probably got the ever-loving shit egged out of their house. But I digress. Inappropriate and not inclusive, and also did away with the parades, parties, and costume wearing in school. Bastards. Supervisors at the school district claimed that the holiday made certain children feel excluded and highlighted inequities. You know what that means? Here's what that means. I grew up in the 1990s in southern Jersey for the earlier half of the 90s and central Jersey for the upper half. I never lived in a hoity-toity area or what we would call full-size candy bar country, okay? If you handed out like full-size Snicker bars, by the way, you were a god among men. A god. But I'm sorry. I took a break, ate some dinner, and now I came back like really recharged. But anyway, I grew up in like lower middle class communities, outside like Toms River and hometown Carteret, hollering at you, exit 12. Inequities? What kind of bullshit is that? This is Halloween, man. So I have seen stuff that mothers have made their children that blows anything that you bought off the shelf out of the water. Now, granted, in today's day and age, you can get almost anything on Amazon, and it's $20, same as downtown. Come on.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, no kidding. But inequities? One year for Halloween. My mother was a genius. My mother, well, she's not dead, and she still is a genius. It's just, my Halloween costumes are no longer a problem because I'm 33 years old. But my mother was a genius when it came to this kind of stuff. How many of your moms took a cork, burned it, right? Because my mom was a smoker, still is. Took a cork and burned it and would give you a hobo beard and a hobo mustache by rubbing the burnt cork on your face. Or they would rub the cork all over your face. Black face! Oh, do I have dun? No, I don't. Come on, man. This is BS. Anyway, And it would darken your complexion. But the goal wasn't to make you look like a different race. It was to make you look like you'd rolled around in a pile of soot. Because you were dressed as a bum. That's how you did that. All right? Or, wrap you in tinfoil, make you a leftover. There were a ton of really, really great, inexpensive costumes. I was like the cheapest, cruddiest looking Jedi ever a couple of times. Because you pick up like a dollar store bathrobe. I think the most expensive thing was like the $10 flip out lightsaber. And you're in business, man. Screw Disney. But, come on, inequities? No. Halloween is one of the last great holdouts of meritocracy. Because if you're tough, if you're strong, if you can walk far, you can hit as many houses as possible, you can lug a big-ass pillowcase, because I'm sorry, those little jack-o'-lantern shaped things, man, those are for little... Fine. Those are for wussies. You get the pillowcase. You get your great big old pillowcase, and you carry all your candy in that, and how far you can walk and how many houses you can hit, and whether or not you can make it to the rich neighborhood. Remember I told you about full-size candy bar country? Them people. If you can make it to that neighborhood, then you're a boss, all right? And then you come home with a big load of candy. If you wuss out, like a mile in, I'm tired. I want to go home. Oh my god, I walked so far. I can't even anymore. What kills me is like these days, it's not the kids that are wussing out of it. It's the damn parents. Like, seriously, the parents are just wussing out of it. I know! I walked too far. Let's get in the car and drive a couple of blocks. Nobody drove us. Granted, I grew up in a town, 4.5 square miles, population 24,000, okay? So, suffice it to say, we're packed close enough together where we can get a decent haul going. I understand some rural areas. You get, like, the trunk or treats. You get, like, the school parties. That's how these kids trick or treat. That's the only way they can do it now. And now you're taking that away. Bloody hell. Inequities. My ass. Anyway, across the pond in Scotland, one school swapped out Halloween for the autumn dance. No, you don't swap that out. You have Halloween and an autumn dance. You do both. Cheap bastards. Anyway, according to The Sun, after two parents complained that not all families celebrate Halloween. Well, that's because some families are clearly better than others. Deal with it. And forcing kids to purchase Halloween costumes to wear to school could put an unnecessary strain on family budget. I need an appropriately sized blunt object with which to brain myself. Where the shit? Oh my god. Double facepalm when one's not enough to hold your brain in. I just mentioned how I grew up broke, flat broke, you can't afford it, buy it on credit in southern Jersey in the early 90s, and my mom, bless her heart, came up with cool stuff on the cheap, and I did fine. Put an unnecessary strain on your family budgets. I get it, man. I'm on a budget right now. I have 4 kids. Times are tight. Gotta make economies. Pick and choose. Most schools happily incorporate Halloween into their calendars, though. At least for the first 12 years of mandatory schooling. Once students get into college, the real woke police take over, sucking the fun with strict rules about which costumes are acceptable and which costumes could lead to trouble. Michigan State University leads the way in 2019, releasing its rules late last weekend, pasting posters across campus, asking students to consider whether their planned costumes are racially, culturally, or ethnically based. The College Fix reports the posters asking, is your costume racially, culturally, or ethnically based, appeared in dorms last week, courtesy of the school's Residence Education and Housing Services. The placards featured examples of, quote, costume fails. A guy dressed like a mariachi. A woman dressed as Native Americans, known as hypersexualized racism, and in a Japanese kimono, and a space alien, which allegedly represents illegal aliens. Wait, are you shitting me? No, they really wrote that. The American Mirror, which covers incidents of far-left meddling across the education system, was able to get a hold of one of the posters, which gives strict guidelines to students celebrating both on and off campus. Quote, no sombreros or mustaches, Nazi gear, Rastafarians, illegal aliens, Middle Eastern attire, and other racially, culturally, or ethnically based costumes. Students are warned to avoid any costume that involves cultural appropriation. Quote, Western appropriations of non-Western or non-white forms carry with them, quote, the connotation of exploitation and dominance. America is dominant, isn't it? You know, just saying. Hashtag, just saying. The school told the Mirror that they won't necessarily be enforcing the rules. However, MSU, the Mirror reports, is not saying students can't dress that way, but wants students to know, quote, how their costumes can be portrayed, particularly on social media, where audiences can quickly mock and cancel an individual for non-woke choices. Cancel culture has gotten to the point where we're canceling individuals now. We're canceling people. Last time I heard that was called abortion. I'm not even going to rimshot that. That was just bad. Come on. Yeah, kind of when you cancel a person, you know what I mean? Or murder a person, actually. Canceling individuals, canceling people. You can get canceled as a person now. Never mind your job. Never mind this show that I'm on. If Ron got particularly pissed and decided to cancel me, or YouTube decided to finally smash me with the ban hammer because I'm really tiny and I love my YouTube followers, all 30 of you. Be fruitful and multiply. Grow amongst yourselves. I'd like to get paid someday. BitChute, by the way, I love you too, guys. Thank you so much for watching on BitChute, where those rules need not apply. But, of course, Michigan State University's mascot is the Spartan, drawn straight, or one might even say, appropriated from Greek history. Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, or FIRE, notes that not all colleges are hands-off in enforcing the rules as MSU, and that students have been punished for non-woke costumes in the past. Yes, it seems that some colleges did the nasty to their students in the past. Students, be aware that colleges may not be clear about how wrong costumes may be treated. The guidelines can be vague. The rules can sometimes be subjectively... Wait, what do you mean sometimes? Every single one of these is subjective. Offense by itself is subjective. What offends you might not offend me, might not offend Bob. Whoever the hell Bob is. FIRE also notes, however, that Halloween costumes are protected speech, and public colleges and universities must allow students to express themselves as the students, not the administrators, see fit. Good luck with that one. To be safe, college and university students might want to forego politically charged costumes and stick with the more generic commentary on current events. Yandy.com, the headquarters for bizarre, overly sexy costumes on the internet, features a sexy White Claw, a sexy meatless hamburger, and a sexy what the I almost dropped the foxtrot. What in the blind fornication is a sexy tariff? Okay. Link will be in the description. It's just a particularly risque dress, short-cropped, low V-neck, with dollars that say tariff across the front of it. Well done. Well done. You've actually found a way to make tariffs sexy. Good job. All right. So thank you so much to the Daily Wire for that. Again, link will be in the description. Please check that out and support that wonderful conservative libertarian content. Hashtag not a sponsor, but hey guys, call me. Halloween's coming up. I've got 4 kids. One of them school age. Typically we've been going with kind of animal-themed, horror-themed things. There's a horror game that came out some time ago called Five Nights at Freddy's. Don't judge me for the fact that my 6-year-old knows what that is. It was really popular on YouTube when the kid was born, and it's kind of been a part of our life ever since. We watch, gamers like Markiplier and PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye, guys like that, and that's kind of part of our family environment. Not so much anymore because their language just got a little ridiculous, but anywho, the games kind of stuck with us, and we've read some of the books, and it's a great scary costume that's non-gory. So I think we're doing the Five Nights at Freddy's theme this year for Halloween for my kids. I think those costumes have already arrived, and not cheap like I got when I was a kid, but pretty affordable. But just be careful, man. I'm not going to tell you to censor yourself or censor your children. By the way, if your college student or your teenager is dressing up as a can of White Claw, which is, by the way, unconfirmed reports that White Claw is nothing but rebranded Zima from the 90s. If that's how they're dressing up, I think they may have some issues with their life choices. I've never seen anybody dress up as like a bottle of Bud. Have you? Yeah, I don't know. Been a while since I really actively dressed up for Halloween. I've been kind of phoning it in. My boys over on Odyssey One Station, my fellow sci-fi nerds, I do have a complete Starfleet uniform, which I do wear for Halloween, which I'm certain there are pictures running around of me. And not a captain, not a commander. Damn it, I'm a 5-star admiral. All right. So before we jump on to cooler things, you see what I did there? I said cooler. That's a segue. I want to talk to you about cat coolers. Good old cat coolers. Cat coolers are a proud long-term sponsor of Mojo 50. We are very grateful for their support. The promo code for cat coolers for the HoloNet is HOLLOW, hollow, for cat coolers, okay? And the talking points there, guys, for Arizonans, it's like camping time. It's vacay time. The weather has actually gotten reasonable. It's nice out. So make sure you pick up one of these cat coolers. They come in a variety of colors. They come in the yellow, the black. You can actually get a logo printed on. Get the HoloNet logo. It looks good. It's up on the Facebook. Feel free to pull that down. Get the Betsy Ross happening on that bad boy. Get yourself a cat cooler. Use your promo code HOLLOW, HOLLOW. Save yourself some money there. Go to catcoolers.com. Catcoolers.com. Promo code HOLLOW. Guaranteed to keep ice for 7 days. 7 days, guys. That's pretty intense. You hear about them on Rants of Izzo, on Defenders Live, bunch of other shows, on, Brad Stagg's morning Daily Mojo. Catcoolers.com. 7-day retention. It's got a lifetime warranty on it. These things are hard to kill. Okay? Drop it off a cliff, do whatever. It's a cooler so rugged, it changes everything. Again, comes in the black, the yellow, or the white. A lot of different varieties here. Hell, they even have drinkware. Oh, they have camo, too. Camo. For you hunters out there, they have camo. All right. Check it out. Catcoolers.com. Promo code HOLLOW. All right. Now that I'm done, kind of bashing my head in about this Halloween stupidity. By the way, if you did like the Facebook violation song that I started the segment with, I'm gonna put that up separately, and I'm probably gonna get killed for it. But Freedom Hard. If you haven't been on freedomhard.com yet, please do get on there. I've created a profile on Freedom Hard. I actually created two because I'm a goof. I created one for myself and one for the HoloNet. I think they're both called the HoloNet, though. So find us on there, on Freedom Hard. I'm going to start posting there. You're going to see regular updates from the HoloNet. A lot of our Mojo 50 hosts are starting out there. This is designed to be analogous to Facebook. Okay, it's going to have a lot of the same bells and whistles. This is the Facebook competitor that we have been waiting for. I know a lot of you are on the MeWe's. I tried the MeWe's for a little while. A lot of people complain that it's hard to keep up with. It moves too fast. It's a lot like Twitter in that way. And we heard you. So we have looked around and we've come to Freedom Hard now. And that's where you can find it. Ooh, I have some friend requests on there. Yeah. Oh, Americanook's on there. You got to check out Americanook on there. Hey, Jay Christopher, Lamont Copeland, thank you. Mama Lee SD, 54. Brandon Emma, 1881, thank you. Guys, I've just gone in and approved all of your friend requests on Freedom Hard. That's fantastic. So, I'm getting on there. I'm starting to make that work. As you guys know, I have very, very little free time. So I don't always get to things as quickly as I would like to. But I'm going to be making a big effort to support Freedom Hard through their development. So please do as well. That's freedomhard.com. And you can find me, Freedom Hard. You can find the HoloNet on there. Hang on, let me see if I can get you the direct. Where's my profile? Yeah, my profile. I've been I've been listening to a couple of South Park cuts, so it's kind of funny. So let me see here. freedomhard.com/u/HollowNet. You can find me on there, freedomhard.com. So, did have to go to a little bit more international news, and this one made my head hurt a lot. This was painful to read. The United Nations have lost their minds. So we're going to go to this. It's probably going to be the last show I have time for. And my browser is freezing. That's fantastic. Okay, cutting to the chase. This past week, the United Nations added a new country to the Human Rights Council. Wait for it. The new country to join the Freedom Rights Council, the Human Rights Council, at the United Nations. Sorry, I don't have a drum roll. Otherwise, I would definitely drum roll, please this. Venezuela. Not kidding. Not joking. Venezuela has won a seat on the UN Human Rights Council. This from the Washington Post. Caracas, Venezuela. The government of President Nicolas Maduro won a seat Thursday on the UN Human Rights Council. A controversial victory for the regime accused of using intimidation, torture, and murder to cling to power. The Maduro government, which is no longer recognized as legitimate by the United States and around 50 other countries, has sought to return to the 47-member panel to counter an image of international isolation and thwart investigations into its own alleged abuses, like turning the force of their armies on their own people, to prevent them from getting humanitarian assistance from other countries. Venezuela and regional rival Brazil beat out Costa Rica for the 2 Latin American seats up for election. Costa Rica had declared its candidacy only this month in an effort to deny Venezuela a 3-year term, but the support of China, Russia, Cuba, and other allies gave the socialist state the win. Whew. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Jorge Ariaza said after the vote, "We celebrate once again the Bolivarian diplomacy of peace at the UN. This victory is historic since we faced a ferocious campaign. A ferocious campaign of basically people telling the truth about what you've done to your own citizens. How many people have died due to the failure of socialism in Venezuela? People starving in the streets, literally." While the government celebrated Thursday, the opposition leader Juan Guaido accused it of killing a member of his party. Edmundo Rada, a 42-year-old former councilman from the eastern Caracas slum of Petare, was found shot twice in the neck, a bag covering his face, and half of his body burned. Quote, "On the same day that the UN permits a dictatorship like Maduro's to occupy a seat bathed in blood," Guaido said, "the regime produces a human rights violation." Guaido called for an impartial international commission to investigate this and other killings. Venezuela's communications ministry did not immediately respond to requests for comment, because since when do socialists give a crap about the press? Julio Borges, a foreign relations representative for the opposition leader, said Maduro, quote, "mortgaged everything to win the seat. But what he doesn't know is that maneuvering won't let him hide his crimes. Elected democracies in this body will increasingly isolate the dictatorship and will expose its human rights violations." High Commissioner Michelle Bachelet painted a bleak picture of Maduro's Venezuela in 3 reports this year. She documented arbitrary detentions, tortures, and killings. In July, she said corruption and underinvestment had violated Venezuelans' right to an adequate standard of living. The United Nations doesn't work. If you have seen no other proof, no other evidence of your life, okay, in your life, here it stands. When you have nations like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, like Venezuela, like the Congo at one point, if I'm not mistaken, as members of the UN Council on Human Rights, where China can hold sway, the United Nations is a joke. and they have no place in the United States. Should President Trump secure victory in the 2020 election, I think he needs to insist on removing the United Nations and all of their various apparatchiks and accoutrements from the United States in entirety, evict them from their New York perch, and remove United States funding from the body. Next week, hopefully we'll have some interesting guests on. Looking forward to that. And further developments in the Arizona primary. In the meantime, I will say to you, good night. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Keep your heads on a swivel. Watch your backs. From Phoenix, Arizona, I'm Matt Holloway. This is the HoloNet on Mojo 50. End transmission.